Welcome back. I'm Kirsty Stevens, partner here at GRI Club. Delighted to welcome here Valeria Falcone, Barings Real Estate at the Europe GRI in Paris. Valeria is one of our committee members of the GRI Women Leading Real Estate Europe. So Valeria, I'd like to ask you, we just launched the GRI Global 50/50 initiative to empower and inspire more women into real estate. How do you feel about that as being a senior woman in real estate?
Yeah, thank you everybody, and thank you, Kirsty, for asking me for this interview. Well, first of all, I think the numbers speaks clear for themselves, and there is definitely a much bigger, let's say, number of women working in real estate, but they're not represented anywhere. So and it's very difficult for them to do networking and connecting with people because, of course, they are not able to access to certain type of conferences. So I think it's a great initiative. I really hope that this will allow us to have more women coming to GRI in the future. And I think also making the conversation a little bit more diverse, I have to say. I'm doing this job for 25 years. I am used to be one of the only female, okay, in a very male environment. Nothing bad into this, but the reality is that a lot of the things that are discussed could go in different direction. I think that sometimes we self-reference to ourselves a little bit too much in the real estate community. So I think that some fresh thinking will be definitely needed.
We had our women's annual lunch and deals talk yesterday. What were your key takeaways from that?
Well, I mean, I think that in the end, it's we do feel that we are underrepresented, okay, in a way. And but there's all the capacity, all the I would say knowledge and competencies for this to grow in a way. So I think that women just need to be empowered a bit more. I don't think that will happen on its own. So we have to do something. Because otherwise, it's too difficult, or at least it will happen too slowly. There's no difference between what we can do and what men can do in real estate. We sometimes have got, more patient. We're more, I would say, onto stuff. So, there's really a good balance that could be matched between, and companies are definitely going to be better if they have both components and not just one of the two components. I just think we need just to, as more senior, let's say, people from the real estate industry to accelerate or help or actually support, the introduction of new people, new younger generation into the real estate business. So maybe in 10 years' time, we won't have to talk about it anymore, but it will be something normal, so to say.
Amazing. And let's talk a little bit more about the market, value add and opportunistic. Are you pessimist or optimist for the next year?
Well, I'm actually optimist to the point that as a value add player, we have to deploy capital. We can see a clear repricing. Of course, transactions are still are still not happening because there's a bit of discrepancies between what people want to pay and people want to get in terms of pricing. So not many motivated sellers around, but the situation will change and is changing. And we haven't done investment for the last, I would say, 15 months, and now we have quite a strong pipeline. As we believe that it's time to get into the market. The market could still slip a little bit more. It doesn't matter. I mean, we are value-add players. We have 3-4 years in front of us. We just need to be, let's say, disciplined, understand the real value underneath each properties, and underwrite a relatively sustainable business plan also in terms of timing, okay? Because we don't know when the situation will turn. But in terms of opportunity in buying, I think it's a great moment. If you are holding asset and you need to sell, then it's a bit of a different story. But nevertheless, I think that we start seeing that also in the existing portfolio. When you do have quality, when you are responding to the tenant's need, you still have opportunity to be let, which is very important, of course. But in terms of new opportunity, I'm super excited. I think this is one of the best moments potentially to invest. And you combine the let's say the price decrease with also the new needs of tenants, the request of high quality, the request of well-being, the request of net zero carbon, and that again is adding other let's say value to the equation. Therefore, really next vintage could be a very, very good vintage. So therefore, I'm very excited about that. So for new generation also, they should be very excited as well.
Nice. Any wild cards to derail the optimism, do you think?
Well, I say, of course, we live in a world in which there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things can happen, okay? And so for sure, if the war will get worse, so if we have external factor coming in, that's the case. But I would say that in the last 3-4 years we've been used to different disruption coming into the market. So I wouldn't say it's the new normal, but sort of say we always need to soundproof our business plan to potentially resist to this external, let's say, turmoil. And then in the end, just sticking to the fundamentals. If you stick to the fundamentals, I think you are better protecting the money of your investor. You're protecting better, your investment in general. And always watch out, of course, for what can happen. There's always could be shocks around that can, change the situation, so to say. But that's why you need flexibility. You need to adapt. You need to work on your asset. You can't sleep on things. You need to actually anticipate and try to think what's going to happen next, what's going to happen in 2-3 years' time. This is the beauty and the difficulty of our job, really.
Valeria, thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty. Thanks a lot.